Let me take a moment to introduce our panelists. Please welcome Russell Bean. Russell, thank you for being here. The floor is yours, friend. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Thank you. Good afternoon or good morning, everyone, depending on where you may be coming in from. I know that we're with ASAN, like with myself, when we have our workshops, Zoom meetings, we have people from all over the country, matter of fact, all over the world as well. It ended up being that way. Wasn't anything that we set out to do. My name is Russell Bean. Of course, my wife sitting in the background there is Jewel Bean. Jewel is a resource specialist as well as a business consultant. We were former resource specialists with Tuskegee University. We're no longer with them. We still work with them on maybe other projects or different things that we may do. We do have a memorandum of understanding with them and our farm. We're not really doing a whole bunch of farming right now, even though we do have donkeys, we do have goats, and we do have tunnel houses. But we're scaling down because we are getting older now. So we're in our mid-60s. And so we're looking at scaling it down to be able to do some of the things we want to do in our latter golden years. And so, you know, we stay quite busy. And we have 5 businesses that we're running right now, which is S&B Farm, Bean Consultants. We have Premier Auction, because I am a licensed auctioneer. And then we have Bean Appraisals, because I'm a licensed real estate appraiser as well. And then we have our foundation, Bean Education Foundation. And so they work together, but at the same time, they're separate entities, but sometimes they kind of commingle together, kind of those, but we keep our records separate from those things because of the people we deal with and come through and calls for all kind of questions, you know, and answers and different situations that people may have, because we don't help just farmers, but entrepreneurs. If you're a farmer, you are an entrepreneur. And I'm also a certified paralegal in real estate and litigation. That was a mouthful, you know, with that.
Needless to say, I definitely married a busy man, which is great because I am myself also a nutritionist. My background is food science and nutrition, so that really helps us when we're working with different groups throughout and showing them how to keep good records on what they're growing. And what we always say is grow what you eat and eat what you grow. So it's been working out great with Russell, record keeping and everything. We just sort of pull it all together to help the farmers be well-rounded and more sustainable.
That's amazing. Y'all have a lot of hats to wear. What a powerhouse team. That's so cool. I love it.
It's our passion.
Well, welcome. Thank you. Thank you for being here. All right. Well, Russell, you have the power to share your screen whenever you're ready.
Okay.
Russell is going to share a couple of PDFs and walk through it, and you'll find links in the chat to them directly. So if you have any questions.
And you're going to drop those, the ones in for me in there? You're going to drop those in for me, Sophie?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Good. Let's see there. You were able to see the screen?
Yes.
Okay, great. One of the things that we get, and we get with a lot of people, and I understand that record keeping. And record keeping is very, very important. It doesn't make any difference what you do, even in your own personal, you know, taxes, in your personal home, and your inventory in your home. I'm gonna give you some examples. Some examples would be, what can I do for my home in record keeping? Go around taking pictures, recording major things that you purchased, because guess what? If something happens or a major catastrophe happens, God forbid, it happens, or you have a fire or a flood or whatever it may be, when did you buy it? What did you pay for it? Where are these things located? All of those things as well. And then when you have children, as we're building wealth and building the things that we have in our home. So something happens to us or in our demise, our children can come in and look at things and see, well, this is what they have, because you're building assets is what you have, all of those things. And we don't really think about it, you know, it's just stuff we have around our house. And but as an auctioneer, I go in and auction a lot of people's properties and their personal belongings and things. And of course, I set a price for those things because I know what they're worth and what they have. But sometimes it would help me if the people had records. So that's just one thing a record keeper. So think broadly. In other words, don't just think in your business, but also in your personal life, and having those things and doing an inventory so you can have those things available. Also, when you have business, in any type of business that you're doing and farming, it is a business. And you may have other businesses that you may have. You might have a home-based business as well, and you need those records and have those records kept. So when you're audited, or if you're audited by the IRS or by your state, that you will have those records available when you need them. So whatever you put on your taxes, that you can prove that, as well as to make sure that you're getting all of the deductions that's available to you, that's legally available to you, that you're not leaving money on the table. And I have had some audits, and I've had to, you know, it kind of shakes you up, you know, it makes you nervous. But when you have your records and you take your records in, you don't have an issue. And so if some things may be allowed or may not be allowed, of course you have to get with your tax accountant to do that, or tax attorney to do those things. But the IRS has all these publications and all this information and all this stuff. Well, who has time to read that stuff personally? I don't, but your tax person will know those. At least they're supposed to know that. But what they file for you and what they do is no better than what records you keep. So that makes it important. So why should I keep records? This particular one here is from the IRS. It says everyone in business must keep records. It didn't say should, it said must keep records. Keeping good records is very important to your business. Good records will help you do the following: monitor your progress of your business. Am I making money? Am I not making money? Did I make money on this item or not make any money on this item? Did I break even? Those things. It helps you to prepare your financial statements, which could be your profit and loss. It also could be your assets as well, so you can have and know what you have there. So if you're going to get a loan and you're going to borrow money, guess what? You need records. You have to have those records. If you don't have those records, then guess what? You're not going to get your loan. And also with the funds that we have available through the COVID and the different ones that have come through as well, they ask for records as well, because you had to have a certain loss over the past so many 18 months. And just give an example, whatever it may be in that time. Well, how can you prove if you had that loss if you did not keep good records? And guess what? A lot of people missed out on this COVID money because they didn't have those records available to them. Also, is to identify your source of income so that you know where the sources that you're coming in. Not all monies that you receive are taxable. Some things are not taxable. A windfall in, say, a suit that you had or from an accident, those generally are not taxable. But if you show them up and you put this money in your bank, then you got extra money that is there. You need to make sure that you know that. As a matter of fact, that happened to me at once. At one time, we bought 2 cars and we paid, had a cashier's check. And so by doing that, though, the bank, IRS showed up at my house and wanted to know where we got this money from. And simply I told them it was from a litigation that we had from that. And he said, okay, fine. You know, it's not a problem that he couldn't have found that information out because they know it anyway. And guess what? With the new monies within the Build Back Better, they're adding in $70 billion to the IRS so that he can hire 70,000 more agents to be able to add in. So for people that are not paying their taxes, they want to go back and collect the monies that they're saying that they to help pay for some of the things that they're doing. And of course, that's here nor there. I won't get into that part politically, but it is, the landscape is changing on that end. And even for the people that have entrepreneurs or small businesses, they say it's big businesses, for the big businesses. No, it's for everyone, because they're saying that if you're going to be spending anywhere $10,000 cumulative over a year, it was $600, but they did push it to 10,000. And it used to be that the IRS wouldn't do anything if they didn't have to report it from banks. In other words, if you went to the bank and pulled out $10,000 cash, or either deposited $10,000 cash, they reported that to the IRS. But if it was by check, they didn't have to. So then they were going to say $600 if you have these expenses over that period of time. So now they're saying 10,000 cumulative, and they're going to send all of these records in. Not necessarily the IRS is going to come talk to you or anyway, but they're going to have this on records now, whereas before they didn't care about that. Landscape has changed. Also, to keep track of your deductible expenses, as we talked about, to keep track of your basis of your property. And what I mean by your basis of your property is you purchase a piece of property, you pay, say, $50,000 for it, and then you did expenses and did other work and things like that, and say maybe it cost you an additional $10,000. And so you ended up $60,000 into that property. That's your basis. Now you sell that property for, say, $100,000. So what is your income that you made, or your profit that you made, which would have been $40,000? So you got to know what your basis is of your property to prepare your tax returns, your state and your federal, and to support the items reported on your tax return. Monitor the progress of your business. When you have good records, you can know whether you, as we mentioned before, if you're making money or you're improving it, or what items you're selling, what changes you need to make. And so good records can increase your likelihood of your business success. Preparing your financial statements. You need good records for that, for accurate statements, which include profit and loss, which I talked about that earlier, and your balance sheet. Your balance sheet would be basically how much assets you have, what is the debt of those, and the difference. So if your balance sheet says, I have assets of $100,000 and I have debt of $50,000, of course your net would be additional $50,000. Of course, if you owe more than what you have, then you have a loss. So these statements can help you in dealing with banks and creditors to help you manage your business. Your income statement shows you what income and expenses coming in for a given period of time. You can do that on a daily basis, monthly basis, weekly basis. That's left up to you. And so your balance sheet, as we talked about, assets and liabilities, that gives you your equity in your property. So for instance, you have a home that's worth $100,000, you owe $50,000 on it, you have $50,000 in equity. And so you can go and borrow against that, or if you sold your home, that would be what you would get after you sold it. And then we talked about identify your sources of income, and we really won't get into that again. It's just knowing what they are. Oh, well, let me back up a little bit, because you can. Say, for instance, you have a farm and you raising cattle, but also you're raising hay. Well, you have hay to feed your own cattle, but you have an excess of hay left over. And so you sell that hay, which produces an income from that as well. So that could be many other things. Or you have vegetables that you're growing, and then you create an added value product, and you make money from that. Well, I sell these items raw, but I also sell these items that I've made jams or jellies or pies or whatever from. So they can be a separate income. You want to know what they are. You want to identify those sources. Unless you record them when they occur, you may forget these expenses when you prepare your tax return. And believe me, you will forget them. If you don't have this information written down, put somewhere, you won't. Keep track of your basis of your property. We talked about that. Also, that helps you in your deductions from depreciation and amortization and casualty loss as well. One of the things would be that you can write off depreciation of things like your vehicles, your tractors, and certain things. Some things are done on a depreciation value, and some things are done that you can write it off specifically within that year. So you have to give it to your tax accountant to do that. And also preparing your tax return. So this helps you to be able to go through those and give those records to you need to. And if you have those categorized and done, which normally what I do with my tax accountant, I normally take all those records and I categorize them according to my Schedule C for my business or my Schedule F, so that she knows where to put them instead of her going through and handing her a bunch, hundreds and hundreds of receipts that you got to figure through. And guess what? If they're going to do that, they're going to charge you for it. So if you have all these things already in a formal way that you know what they are, if you can pick them up, it's going to be much, much better for you. Let's see, I want to switch over to something which is called enterprise budget. Enterprise, can you see that when I switch the screen, does it show that?
Yes, yes, it does.
Okay, making decision with enterprise budget. The reason why I want to talk about this is part of our risk management classes that we teach. We have a risk management course that you can also get a certificate in as well, that we have hundreds of people to go through our risk management class and also our marketing workshop. But this risk management covers everything about your farm and business. So if you want to contact me, I've dropped that information in the chat to let you know we have some recordings on that as well in the past that we've done. So making a decision with an enterprise budget. What is an enterprise budget? An enterprise budget is something that allows you to be able to look through what you're doing and determines whether you make any money. Are you making any money? Are you breaking even? Are you losing money? And it could be on a specific item. And say collard greens, I'm going to give one. You grow collard greens, I'm going to grow this number of collard greens, I'm going to sell them by the bunch, or either I'm going to sell them by the pound, depending on what you're going to do. Some things are by the pound, some things are by the bunch. So it allows you to go in to put everything in to a line item list that would allow you to list all those items from the top. What is it going to cost you? And then what did you make? How much did it take for labor? How much did it take for seeds or seedlings? How much did it take for fertilizer? How much did it take for the labor to harvest it? It gives you all of that information in your enterprise budget. And then you will look in that and it will tell you what is your break-even point. That means you didn't lose any money, you didn't make any money. And so say, for instance, you could be selling collard greens at $2 a pound. That's the kind of decision come off your mind. Maybe that's the market area says that you can get $2 a pound. But after you've done your break-even point, it says that you've got to sell it at $2.50 a pound just to break even. So if you're selling at $2 a pound, guess what? You're losing 50 cents on every pound that you lose. And so you sell 100 pounds, multiply that times 50 cents, and look what you've lost. And so anything above your break-even point, you're making money. So you might decide that it may not be worth me to grow those collard greens to sell them. Or maybe if it is, maybe not when everyone else is selling them at the same time. I can sell them at a different season when everybody don't have them. And that's where tunnel houses help people. It can get you in the marketplace much earlier on a lot of items before other people bring them to market, so you get a premium. And also when people go sell out, then you can go further into your season as well when people don't have it. So in other words, you can produce more dollars. And that's what I like about tunnel houses. So that is basically it. I'm not going to get into all of those things and read all of this information in there, because it's in the chat box that you'll be able to look at this yourself. And so the enterprise budget contributes to the highest return of fixed resources the amount of labor needed, the types of equipment needed, any given combination of the enterprise, and also gives you production costs and those other things that you need, and also the size of maybe where you're growing them. You need the types of enterprises that may be available, because as I mentioned earlier, you may have more than one enterprise within your business, your farm. And so you want to separate those things so it can determine that I don't need to be doing this, or I need to be doing more of this. And so how do you know? My dean used to ask me, say, Russell, are farmers making any money? Are they doing, what are they making? What they're making money? I said, some do, some don't, and some don't know. And he looked at me and said, what do you mean some don't know? I said, they don't know because they're not keeping records. They don't know whether they're making or losing money. And so that is one of my real passion about people, is keeping records. And it doesn't have to be tedious. And somebody said, well, is there a specific way? Should I keep records? How can I keep records? No, you do what is best for you, and what works for you is what's easier for you, and makes it not a task. It is a task, but less of a burden for you. And one of the record things that I do is I take all of those records and I have a box, and for all those records for that year, I keep them entirely in that box as well for the hard records. One of the things you can do, you can scan your files as well, and you can keep them in Excel file folder. You can use a tablet, and write the information down. What you could do is set aside time, either once a week or twice a week, depending on how much you buy and sell and what you do, or you could do it 10 or 15 minutes a day. I'll do it before I start my day, or I do it at the end of the day. Well, it's kind of hard to do it at the end of the day because you got a lot of other things to do. You may have to be preparing food, getting ready for the next day, getting your kids ready for the next day, all of those things that you have. But what you have to do is you have to be vigilant, and you have to be disciplined in doing it. And once you get it done and get going with it, then it becomes easier to you. So utilizing those enterprise budgets and developing those budgets, and some example of enterprise budgets. I think there's an example in here that shows those variable costs. See, there are some costs that are variable. There are some costs that are fixed. They stay the same. The variable costs would be generally our herbicides or our insecticides, our seeds, and all those things. And fertilizer is so expensive. Our organic fertilizers, depending on what you're doing, the fuel is going up. So some of those things are variable costs, and those normally, as you see. And then there's the other things that maybe are not variable, that are hard costs that stays all the time. They're fixed costs. Fixed costs was the machinery, because I already have the machinery. I'm paying a monthly payment on it, or I've already paid for it. But you can also add in a cost to it as well. If you got land rent or things like that, and you can put those things in there. And so this shows right here a break-even analysis of the total cost of $8.07 of whatever item that they have there, so that they know that if they're selling something, say again, by the pound, and if you were selling it for less than $8, they're losing money. Okay, I want to go to a site. I don't want to go through all of this information here. This kind of some of the summary. Oh, let's look at this one here. I forgot I had this one on here. Here's one we show about collard greens. They're selling by the bunch. You're gonna sell 600 bunches at $3, and you're gonna get $1,800 out of that. And look at the seed cost and the compost and manure and the plowing and all of that. So you got it costs you $1,400. So the variable above the cost there is $356. That's the variable portion of it. And look at that. And then your fixed cost. Well, looking at that, your total cost is, let's say, $1,700. We just rounded the numbers. So your net return is $143. So your break even was $2.76. That means you've got to sell at $2.76 a bunch just to break even. Well, why would I want to do that sometime? Maybe you have what you call loss leaders, that you got to have certain things that you want to have to bring people in, and they buy other things. And I can sell this item for as a loss leader at cost, and I'm not losing because people are going to buy other things for me. But if I was just selling just collard greens, then is that going to be enough for me? Or if I'm only selling 600 bunches, depending on what I want to make, if I'm selling that $143, is that enough for me to even be bothered with collard greens? Or can I sell, 1,800 bunches, and I could make 3 times my amount of money? So that's in there as well. So let's go to the website. What I did is, this one here is Farm Bright. Can you all see that?
Can't see that one.
Can't see that one. So let me stop the share and then share that one back, okay?
Okay.
And I'll go back again. Find that screen. All right, what about now?
Yes. Thank
Okay.
you.
I was looking for a program. There are many different programs that's out there, or different accounting programs. One of them, which escapes me, and I ought to know it because I've done it so often. If someone can remember the name of, gosh, can't think of it right now. But there's one that's been out a long time, and QuickBooks. Yeah, Quicken and QuickBooks. Thanks. Well, they have a session in which you can go in and do farming and click. It asks you what category you're in, and you can do that as well. And I used the program before, but it's really not set for farming because it's so multi-purpose type of software. But what I like about this, and I utilize it, and still would have to go in and tweak some things. And of course, I'm saying there's got to be something out there. And I was searching and searching. And lo and behold, I came across Farm Bright. So I contacted the owners of this Farm Bright, and I met them, and we actually had a workshop with Janie, Russell, and Ian, and her husband. They are farmers as well, but they have 30 years in development, software development, and they're out of Boulder, Colorado. And so they have a program that is specifically designed for businesses, but more set on farming. And what I like about it is everything that you put in and do the categories they're in, it is designed around the Schedule F, which is what you have to file when you're filing farming. And you can put all of that in. And so I want to share with you what they have available. They have you can go in and take 14 days, free trial. You don't have to give any credit card or anything. And then after that, if you want to continue on with them, you can. But I negotiated with them a 25% off discount. I'll put that code into the chat, and you get 25% off forever if you use this code and you decide you want to keep it. And so the features that they have with this is really, really great. They have a plan that you can keep up with your farm, keep up with animal and plant and animal. It works with both. And you can choose the different categories that you want yourself and work with them, and you can upgrade as you need to upgrade. Let's look at and see how it works. I'm just going to go through it right quick. The all-in-one one farm software for livestock growers and e-commerce. And so you can plan, manage, track, report, sell, and also your yields of what you're doing. And this is cloud-based. So it's not any software that you install on your computer. It's cloud-based, and they've been doing this for a while. And so what I like about it, they understand it because they are farmers, as I mentioned that. Who can better do that is someone that actually understands farming. Now, a lot of times these people make these products and create them, but you know what? They don't do anything about it. They don't do farming themselves. Okay, this one is everything you need to manage your livestock. You can go in and change it. It doesn't make any difference what kind of livestock you have, cattle, goat, sheep, hogs, poultry, and more. And you can keep up with those areas, and you can go in and do your paddocks and see what your paddocks are, what you fed them, when did you cut, when did you do your hay, when did you do any type of veterinary work with your animals itself. And then you also can do in your crop planning. They have that available for streamlining and tracking on those things and keeping up with those as well. You can stay organized on everything and being connected on what you're doing. It gives you your progress and things that needs to be that may need assistance, things that need to be done. And of course, if you have employees, or not just employees, family members, you can assign tasks to them. They can go in and know what needs to be done. And they go back and tag that it's been done or it hasn't been done where you are. I mean, it takes care of all. When I talk about all, it's hard for me to ever say that because all means all and not some, but pretty much all of your farm records that you need and the processes in a farm, because they understand it and they've made that. So you do your task and scheduling features, and you can go in and change some of these things to suit your farm. It's not locked in where you can't make a change.
It's easy and very user friendly.
It is. Simplify your books, you streamline. What kind of time frame we have? Okay. And we want to make sure that you have that for your books and your profitability. It lets you know what we talked about that. I added into them and asked them if they would add the enterprise budget into it. That's one thing that they didn't do, but they could. I like the enterprise budget in the way that it's done in that formula. They have something that lets you know if you have profit or profitability, but I wanted them to add the enterprise budget, and they said that they would. It keeps up with your inventory and your equipment and your management, so it lets you know, when did I change the oil? When did I change the hydraulic? When did I clean this item? Or when did I buy these tires? When did I do this? And when did I do those things? All of those things that helps you to know where they are in your farm equipment management as well. It's streamlined. Then they have something that if you're selling, they have a complete seed to sale software that includes a hassle-free e-commerce platform for you. In other words, you don't have to go create another website. They have that already for you. All you got to do is go in, put your information in, put your pictures in, put your inventory in, what you have available, and people can come in and order online directly from you. And you don't have to go out and hire a person to build a website for you. It's really simple. You got your pickup locations if you need that. You got a contact. You got your products with that. They have that in there as well. And that is part of the package, depending on which one that you pick. And it says no more, grow more. The more you know and what you're doing in your business grows as well. So they have these different plans that are included. It's secure online. Also, they have mobile farm record keeping. So they have that app that works in with your home computer as well as your phone or tablet when you're out in the field and out going around doing those things. And all that stuff is encrypted and in storage, and they have that. And it's 100% US based support team. I've talked with them many times. I would be able to email them, also to call them, and they are in the United States, made and born and done in the USA. I like that. And plus they're farmers as well. So they have all of that is available, because a lot of people have different records. They have a spreadsheet here, they have another spreadsheet there, and this one, and all that stuff is separated, and then they try to come put it all together, and it gets to be tedious for them. So I highly recommend them, and I recommend that you all go out and do that free trial, and that you also decide to get it, that you get the discount. So I need to put that into the chat. Okay.
I've got it in there.
All right. Okay. And did I put the code in there?
Yes, sir, you did.
Oh, okay. And it's 25% off.
Yes.
Really, that's it for me.
Fabulous. Thank you. Does anyone have any questions or any thoughts they want to share? Anything that stood out to you as an impactful thing that you didn't know before now, or you're glad to be reminded of?
Surely, Charlotte, I remember you mentioning something about that. Wouldn't this Farm Bright program there be? It seems like it would be an asset to help you with it. Oh, of course, anyone.
Yeah, I mean, this looks wonderful to have it all just completely compiled for you already, and then be able to run all those statistics. And I mean, the customer portal too, that's pretty special. Yeah, sure beats a lot of clipboards just tacked onto the walls various places.
Yeah, I agree. And then the thing about it is, this, like I said, there's no, it says, how long does that discount code last? Forever. Forever. It's not like one-time deal. It's when you renew or do it every year, whatever, and it goes even for the different, if you upgrade to different ones that you go to. Let me click over to the pricing right quick and let you take a look at that. And of course, you can call Janie, and she would be happy to talk with you about those as well, and different ones. But even when you move up to a different plan itself, it will give you the discount. And so they have it starting at $15 a month, and they have it at $35 the standard. And they're of the different. Let me move my thing out of the way. And these are the different things that you have that's available in there. Okay. And so you'll get 25% off of those. And you can do it on a monthly basis, or you can do it on an annual basis. That's showing on a month. If you do it yearly, you do get a discount, or you can do it. And this is on the month. See, from there, $15, that's paid back for the year annually. Monthly, it switches, it's $19. But I still think they're reasonable. And also remember, this is 100% tax deductible for you. You know what? Any expense that you incur in doing your business is tax deductible. I would say 99.99% of the time, okay? There could be some exceptions, because there always is, but 99.99% of the time, everything what it takes that you have is tax deductible, that you write those things off. And so when you're making sure that you're getting the best of everything, believe me, it's worth it.
Absolutely. If I may add also, we don't take vacations anymore. We take business trips. We do a lot of farm and ag trips all over the country. The flights, you can write off your hotel and, most of your food and so forth. So it's really just fabulous when you do that. You're learning and you're still having a little fun, because in between, when you get a break, you can always go to the art gallery or go shopping. That's what I love to do. So we find that it helps us with our budgeting and so forth. And always remember, when events are going on, don't say, oh, I can't afford to do this or that. The way I see it, you can't afford not to, because knowledge is power. So always invest in yourself and in your farm and business.
Yeah, Miss Fanny, yes. Now for me, I have used other programs way before this because of the different businesses that I have used. And QuickBooks was one of them, and Quicken was one of them. And even Money used to be Microsoft Money. I would utilize them, but I've always had to go in and change stuff, and it wouldn't have everything that I need. And what I like about the Farm Bright program, that's why I was always going back and looking at other programs to see who had something out there. And I found very few that was in for the agriculture. I could find bits and pieces, records. As I mentioned, I got, a matter of fact, a friend of mine just asked me, is there something as a record that you have? And I sent him a spreadsheet one to get started on, but this would actually be better for him. He said, well, he's a techie guy. So he says, the spreadsheet would be fine for me, but I'll go back and look at this other one because he's expanding his farming as well. So I would say this particular program because I like it. And I found that the other ones were, the learning curve was a little bit harder for me in some cases. Once I got it in, it was fine. I had to modify on the inside and change things. And that was one of the problems that I had. And so, and then because it was a catch-all for any kind of business, that so they weren't specific. And that's what I found was wrong. So when I found this Farm Bright, I'm telling you, I wish I had done it, but I'm not a programmer and to get in doing it. So I'm glad someone did, and we give them support.
It's like finding your soulmate. You're like, oh wow, this is it. This is the one. Because you don't want to have to put 4 or 5 programs together to get the answer you need just for your particular situation. As Russell was saying, you want something that's pretty much a one-stop shop, and that's what this is about. So everyone we've shared this with, all our colleagues and different farmers and entrepreneurs, they're just grateful, really thankful we shared it.
Yes, and I vetted them. I talked to them several times before I even brought them out and recommended, went onto their site and signed up myself and into their program and to look at their program. And then I had them to come on and do a workshop with us for her to go through all of the processes and to answer those questions for us. And I would talk with them after hours and before times and need things. And so, and any time I found something that I wanted to make clear or to understand that, they always was there for me. And so Jewel and I are not very quick to recommend anyone, because our reputation means a lot to us. And with our word, and when we recommend someone, we want to know that they're going to take care of their customers. That's ultimately, the customer service part. I'm really, really a stickler on that. And I think so far, there may be others out there, but after I went through and looked through a lot of them and different ones, I found this to be the best one, in my opinion.
I love it. Does anybody else have any questions for Russell and Jewel? Any thoughts? Anything that stood out? I hear you, Charlotte, when you said there were so many life lessons in this session. I felt that way too. And this has been really amazing. All right. Well, if there are no more questions.
Well, I did have one, and one that Miss Charlotte said on hers, but I'd like to hear from someone else. What were some of the problems that kept you from record keeping, or some of the problems you had? I still would like to hear from than just one person. Anyone? So that means you're keeping records so great and good.
They don't need any help.
You don't need any help with it. You need to share it with us.
It's all good.
Okay.
Setting up a system and time. I hear that. So Franny says her issue has always been setting up the right system and finding the time. And that was my thing too, is always having to remind myself to take the time. But like you said, every day, if you can commit 15 minutes and just dedicate and get into the routine. But yeah.
And what I like about this program is a free trial. It's 14-day free trial. And you can walk away from it if you don't like it. It's not what you want. And if you had a little bit of time and you didn't maybe get it all, she would extend that free trial for you. And then, of course, getting that 25% discount. But that's it for me.
I love it.
I just want to remind everyone that we're offering just a lot of good information on Thursdays. We come on different times of the month, and we share everything from medicinal herbs to getting your farm up and going, living the green life and sustainability. And a lot of people into regenerative farming now, which is like a step or two above, the organic, because you're dealing with that pure water, and the pure soils and so forth. But you guys will love this because we motivate you. We love to educate, inform, and empower. And that's what it's about. Every day staying focused, knowing that you can do this. It doesn't matter what the task is. If you stay on it and refuse to give up, no matter what comes your way, I guarantee in the end, you're going to win. So this has been fabulous, and I just thank you guys for allowing us to come on and be able to share.
Thank you for being with us. How can they find those weekly broadcasts?
They can go to our website, SMB Farm. I dropped that into the chat earlier. We have a wealth of resources as well available on that website. On the resource tab, we even have some record keeping stuff that's free in there as well that you can get. But it's still not like this type of things or with the Farm Bright. But there are some there that's available that you can get from other universities, different ones people have. It's kind of found like a kind of a hodgepodge, but it is workable. And so there's a wealth of information that's available that we list on our website. That's SAND, as SandBfarm.com. So it's like SandBfarm.com, but I did put that in the chat.
Gotcha. Thank you. I found it and pulled it back down to make sure everybody got it. So thank you. Yes, thank you so much for being here today. Thank you both for sharing this information, and I look forward to learning more things from you from your website. And thanks everybody for being here. Thanks for stepping in and listening and being present. And I do just want to say that, ASAN is a member-led grassroots network, and we are always open to new members. If you're not a member, or if you need to renew your membership, definitely stop in and become a part of the awesome. Thank y'all so much. I hope everyone has a wonderful day. I will see y'all at future sessions in this series, and I'm gonna go start taking some records now. Write everything down that I just did. Yes, thank you so much. Have a wonderful day, everyone.
That would be great. And Jewel does an entrepreneur and what we're doing with our things. And Jewel does the other side of business as well, marketing and all the other things. And Jewel and I have been in business for 45 years.
Wow.
And we've owned many different types of businesses and things. And so we have a wealth of knowledge and information that we just pour out and give back this information to everyone that needs it and want to be able to utilize it or point them into the right resources that's available. Like ASAN. ASAN is a godsend. It's been around for a lot of things. We participated with ASAN for a long time and been to several workshops and participated in workshops as well. And so most definitely this is an organization that is worthwhile.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And yeah, thank you for being here today. A big round of applause for you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Have a wonderful day, everybody. I will see you in future sessions. Thank you.
Yes, everyone have a blessed day and a happy holiday or Christmas, whichever one you choose. If you don't even do that, but still stay safe. Vitamin D, zinc, and plenty of fruits and vegetables.
Yes, absolutely. And don't forget your herbs, darling. All right.
All right.
See you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.